And we are recording. Hi everyone, this is Wassima. Welcome to this channel. And today is a very, very beautiful day, sunny, hot. And it has been some time. I wanted to invite a special person on my channel to talk about a special deck you love. And yeah, here it comes. Claire, welcome to my channel.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
So just to let you know that Claire is the creator of Illuminated Earth Oracle that is now sold out on my website, but it is coming again on Claire's Etsy shop soon. We hope, because it's you just founded it on Kickstarter. Welcome, welcome. I'm so happy to have you in my channel and to have you with us today.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Yes, I hope so. So who are you? We don't know you. We just know your deck that is very much loved, and people are asking me where will it be back in my shop, all that stuff. So who are you? Who is the creator of this amazing oracle?
Well, thank you. I am, well, for one thing, yeah, I probably don't see much of me because I am very introverted. I am the kind of typical reclusive introverted artist, and I live in the Pacific Northwest of the United States in Seattle, Washington. Pretty much surrounded by forest and water and mountains, and really, really beautiful place to live. And I'm an artist, and I'm also I have a family. I have a couple 18-year-olds, so that's exciting.
Wow.
And a husband who's an author and just finished a book. And so yeah, we've got some pets, and kind of a quiet lifestyle, but it's good.
I'm hearing that. Is it a bird? Is it?
Yes, that's a parakeet. We have a couple parakeets.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I tried to close the door so they wouldn't be too loud, but they like to talk when I talk.
Yeah, that's fine. Even if he doesn't speak, we have a parakeet just here. Our neighbor has one also.
Nice.
So you were talking about you are a family of artists in a way. Like your husband is an author. What does he write about? Is it like more in spirituality or something?
No, my husband is a comics historian, and he's just completed a book called Screwball, and it's about mostly American newspaper comic artists, back a ways, more historical work. But it's just a really fun, art-filled book, and it'll be coming out in September.
Wow, nice. And it's interesting that you talk about being introvert and extrovert. And I am a creator also of oracles, and I have this both sides of me. I'm extrovert, I like talking, but I have another side that is introvert and leave me alone. I don't want to talk to anyone. Yeah. This is interesting to know that as an artist, we have our own way of expressing things.
Yeah.
So your way is expressing it through a special art. I mean, you use different techniques in your art.
Yes. I've always considered myself primarily a painter, but some point along the way, I started doing collage, and I just love it. I love a lot of pattern and putting different elements together, and so it's been an evolution, really coming to this deck and using all of that practice and knowledge that I've gained along the way, and just really having so much fun doing this. This is something that I had always wanted to create, a tarot deck, and through different circumstances it ended up being an oracle, but doing the creative part was just fabulous. I really enjoyed it, and I can't stop. I just want to keep going.
So you are continuing this process. So you talk about collage. I feel like maybe it's for me. Just you can share your experience also. Collage gives you like freedom, the freedom of expressing yourself, and you're not tied to one style.
Yes, absolutely. I'm always wary of using other people's material, because in collage it's easy to do and it's so available, and especially now with the internet. Um, but yeah, I'm trying to do, without appropriating too much imagery, just using different little pieces of art that I find, or some old vintage prints and books that I have, which I can tend to cut up, and my husband hates that, but it works really well for me. So yeah, the collage is just such a fun element to play with.
And did you take classes about it, or you developed it with time? Just to know
Yeah,
more about your process.
yeah, just developed with time. I don't think I've taken any classes, but I've admired, I think it's soul collage. I don't know if you're
Yes.
familiar with that one. I never took the classes, but I just thought what a great idea. And yeah, it's just been an evolution of trying different things, different processes, and yeah, as you probably know, the studio is just like scraps of paper everywhere. It's a giant mess with collage, but as long as you can tidy up once every couple of months, it works out okay.
Yes, and you need to remember to tidy it up. If
Yeah.
not, you'll be lost in all your things.
Yes, exactly.
And that turns crazy your husband or your daughter probably. But
Yeah.
let me show your oracle deck. I don't know if you remember the process of some decks,
Mhm.
of some cards. Let's grab a card and ask you about it.
Okay, sure.
Let's see which card wants to come out. Okay. So we have the grief. This card came in the first video I made with this deck, the grief. So I don't know if you remember. If you don't, it's fine. You can just tell us what you mean with this card.
Oh yeah. It's funny. I definitely remember that one. And this process, making a deck, it takes such a long time. It was over, 2 years, and a lot of things happened in my life. So some of the cards do apply to things directly that were happening at that time. And my beloved kitty of 19 years passed away during the time I was creating the deck, and this card definitely, came out of that experience. And of course, grief is something that we all go through. It's so much part of the human experience, and so yeah, that one definitely needed to be included in the deck.
So is it a kitty? Your kitty here?
Yes, yeah,
Oh
and then
wow.
the wolf. I always think of a friend gave me a beautiful stone with just a silhouette of a wolf on it, similar to that. You think of that howling kind of grief where I think everybody can identify with that. So, yeah.
Amazing. Okay, let's see another card. This is amazing. We don't have every time the artist of the deck or the creator of the deck, to speak about what they saw inside. So what about this one?
Yeah,
This one is separate.
that's right. So, actually, most of the cards in the deck, I created the artwork before I put the keyword with it. And this is one of those. And so much of this deck was just inspired by the natural world, and just so much beauty that I see everywhere. And so created the picture first, and then after all the artwork was done, I sat for weeks and just kind of thought about what each one meant to me. I just let the word come up, and separate came up for that one. Um, and you can see it's kind of like a small chip of the stone came off of the big stone and is moving away down this stream like element. And so yeah, it's very, very intuitive, and that's what came up for that one.
So you have basically a very intuitive way of painting things. It's like you don't have any plan made, or you work with your intuition, with what you're feeling.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't used to work that way, but probably the last decade or so, really, it's almost like I can't control it. I might think, oh, I want to paint this, and then next thing I know, it's something totally different. So yeah, very intuitive.
And you talked about something interesting, is that it brings you, this process of creation brings you to question yourself, what does this mean for me? What is it? What is important for me? And I feel like there is transformation inside that takes place in this process.
Oh yeah, yeah, so much. I mean, art is for me a lot about just healing and kind of getting through life and having these touchstones to, I don't know, it's just such a saving practice. And yeah, I don't know if that addresses what you just said, but that's what I thought of when you said it.
Yes, and there is, I was reading your guidebook, the small guidebook, but I find it really interesting because you talked about this tag to be used, for example, for meditation and contemplation, but also we feel that there is a healing energy through it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It's all about healing for me. The whole creative process, like, um, yeah, it's one of those things I don't even have good words for. It's just like the creative process is what anchors me, and in so doing, it's very healing, and it helps get through life and all the daily and lifelong struggles that we go through.
Hmm. Is there something you learned about yourself with this process? As you said, okay, I like this, I don't like that. I am patient with this material, I am impatient with that. So is there
Yeah.
something you learned really about yourself?
Well, I learned that I could actually make it through this whole process, and I had to learn so much that I didn't know, a lot of technical things, because I'm not a computer person. I don't do digital. I'm not a digital designer, and um, so I got pushed pretty hard. I pushed myself pretty hard to do a lot of things that I'd never done before, and so I guess I learned that I have that strength and stamina to see a project through, and just keep going and figuring it out no matter what.
Um, I like always to ask people, what is the spirit of the deck, or what is the spirit of your deck? And from what you are saying, this deck is related. First, we are talking about healing, but also of getting through maybe a project, or getting through difficulty, or getting through something. You remind me of one of your cards where we see the seed. And the plant is going. Let me just look for it. I had it this morning.
Okay.
Beautiful, beautiful card. All the cards are beautiful, to be honest. But and when you look for the card, it doesn't come straight, right? You need
That's
to.
right. You really just need to throw them up in the air and it'll land there.
Yeah. Oh, this one is beautiful. It's not what we are looking for, but this one also is very calm and bringing some quietness in. I don't know if you have been to India, or you were inspired by the Buddhist area culture or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I've been to Nepal. I did some trekking in Nepal when I was younger, and that was partially inspired by that.
Interesting. And I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find it. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
I'm
Oh,
wondering
and
which one.
yes, the seed coming. Oh, here it is. Vulnerability.
Oh yeah, vulnerability. That's interesting
Yes,
that you were thinking of it as the seed. I like that.
yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I saw it as a seed, and the seed or the small plant that is growing is vulnerable, but it's you can find it's weak, but it has so much potential and energy, but it didn't come to life yet.
Uh-huh.
Um, so yeah, so I feel that this deck has this type of energy, like it helps us to go through and to go out in a way, I don't know, I got this idea this morning about this deck.
Yeah, that's really neat. I love hearing what other people see in it or what they get from it, because often it's completely different from what I was thinking when I did it. Or when people do spreads and they interpret it themselves, without using the guidebook, which is awesome, because I think that's what really works the best ultimately, is when people find their own intuitive guidance through the imagery. So
Mm.
yeah, it's nice.
So we can say that this deck is really intuitive and that it will be helpful to develop the intuition or to have some faith in our own interpretation of cards.
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. And the connection with nature, I think, is a big part of that, because the deck is obviously inspired by, earth and the heavens, and just so much beauty, that we live in. And
and we
yeah,
see.
just to say that, like, intuitively, I think we're all connected to that. And so, if we can tap into that, it helps us.
We need to talk also about what inspires you in this deck, and there is the nature, there is earth, there is trees, stones, the sky, not that much, mostly earthy plants, earthy realm. So uh, I mean, does nature take a lot of a big part of your life? What is your relation with nature?
Oh yeah, it does take a big part. Yeah, I where I live, it does get pretty cold and rainy in the winter, and so I don't get out as much as I want, but I still try to go out. I live, maybe a mile from this forested area where I can walk almost every day, and that is very, very healing and inspiring to me. And then I also am fortunate to have a little garden, and so I'm all about that in the summertime. Like right now, I'm just loving the garden, and yeah, it's huge. Again, very healing, very grounding. Yeah, very necessary, and I think it should be for everybody. But I know for me, it's absolutely necessary.
Yes, I understand you so much. I used to live in Montreal, and we had snow like for 6 months,
Ah,
during practically 6 months, from November, December to April, May.
yeah.
And I moved to Lisbon because of nature, because of the sun, because of my nature, because I got so much depressed in winter, and I'm not really a wintry person to make activities outside in the snow.
Yeah.
So yeah, one of the reasons, and I feel that call of nature in us, and many of us are feeling it, and walking, talking with nature. And this week we just started our summer school where we need to connect with trees, fairies.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
so yes, it is a part of our life, but we in a way we forgot it with the cities. Like living in a city is not really uh, healthy in a way, and that's what your oracle, I feel, brings. Also, it brings like a window, uh, especially to people who don't have that time always to go out, to connect with nature, and to be grounded, as you say.
Yeah, yeah. Also the color. This is just a little bit side note, but color is another part of it. Aside from imagery of nature, like color is very important to me, I guess. Plays a big part. And so I know in this deck, a lot of people say it's a bit darker. It is, like, the colors are a bit muted and darker, but at the same time, I think it kind of brings a wide range of color and uh, and a mood with that. It sort of sort of has its own mood. So yeah, that's just another little element that really speaks to me.
How would you were talking about the mood. How would you describe it? Like in 1 or 2 words?
It's a little dark and um, but also illuminating, I guess. You know, there's illumination and darkness, which makes sense. You need to have both to really appreciate all of it.
Yes, it's true. We were talking about the process of creation and what you learned about that. If you have any advice to give to creators of Oracle decks, what would that be?
Yeah. Well, keep in mind it is a long process, and reach out to other people who have done it. Definitely, some people I found are really friendly and willing to help, but I've also found a lot of people don't want to tell you the secrets of like where they got it printed and things like that, which is kind of strange to me. But yeah, definitely reach out and try to connect with others who have created decks. And keep in mind there's going to be bumps along the way, because I had a lot of bumps. Like seriously, towards the end, I was losing it. I was getting so stressed out, but it all worked out in the end, and you just have to be patient and just kind of be willing to go through some stuff. There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, and what kept you motivated? What gave you that motivation to go? Because you worked on this deck like on like during 2 years, right?
Yeah.
So that is a long breath.
I know. I reached an age where it was like, come on, I've got to complete this really big project, because I've done art all my life, and I've sold art, and that's been great, but I've never reproduced anything. So this, in a way, this is big. And I really wanted to like reach a lot of people. So there was that inspiration. And then I have to say the deck itself almost felt like it had a life of its own. Like I was the creator and I'm the one who brought it forth, but the deck really wanted to be here. And so there was inspiration beyond just me, like something was pushing it forward, and I was the vehicle and I brought it in. So
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautifully said. You were the vehicle of many, many energies, many beings
yeah.
that appear in this deck. And as I said, you were talking about healing, meditation. What is your own way of using this deck in your personal life or your personal practice? How do you use it?
I use it if I have an inquiry, something that's really I'm kind of fighting with and just not sure. That's what I've always used my tarot decks for, and I use this deck for that as well. I usually do, I might pull 1, 2, or 3 cards at a time, and I found it to be really good. Like it surprised me actually, because I wasn't sure how it would work out, and it speaks to me. So that's been really cool.
I think this is a very interesting part, because the creator gets to discover its own deck also with the
Yeah.
users he sells to, and
Yeah.
we forget that sometimes.
Isn't that interesting? Have you found that same thing with your work?
Yes, it's like you, as you said, you are the vehicle. It's like you brought a baby into the
Yeah.
world, but this baby, you don't know it exactly. You don't know him. You don't know her, him or her, and you
Yeah.
need to discover its personality and how we can use it and its talents. And so, yeah, it's we discover at the same time. I feel if we publish,
Mhm.
especially at this, just after the creation, we discover it at the same time as others.
That's
And
right. Yeah. Yeah. It's really, really amazing. It's great. It's like having a child and getting to know them, and realizing that you communicate, you have a language between you, and yeah. Nice.
and Also, talking about this deck, and you are talking about tarot deck, is there any project in the future? Like, am I hearing a tarot deck coming in?
I'm not planning a tarot deck yet. I've had a couple people ask about that. I am planning another oracle because I just can't stop. It's too much fun. So I have about, I don't know, maybe 40 pieces of artwork done now for a second oracle. And it'll probably be a couple years because it just takes time. But yeah, maybe a tarot someday. I'm not sure.
Yeah, we never know, but we will come any other oracle oracle
Yeah.
deck also. So you have already 14, and just to let you know that this deck has 63 cards, and they were all made by collage plus other techniques, and they were not digitally made, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's right. Everything was done by hand, and yeah, that's the only way I know how to work. Like I said, I'm not a digital person.
I also noticed that you added some symbols on the top of the deck.
Yeah,
Can you let us know what they mean? Because we don't look always at the symbols, you know?
yeah. I wanted to have the symbol be part of the design element of the little border, and for me, I described it in the booklet, and it's funny, I can't remember what I said exactly, but there are 4 different symbols. Some of them sort of denote positive associations, some are negative associations. Right, there you go. And for me, I just wanted to put that little extra element on the card because they did have that sort of pull or a draw for me, like in one way or another, but then also to remind people that, you know, they're just 2 sides of the whole, like yin and yang, positive and negative, light and dark, and all that. So it's not like one card is bad, another one is good. It's all part of the
And we can use that to add another layer to the reading. That would be interesting
right.
also.
Yeah.
Let me see if you remember the words that I sent you. So
Okay.
now, let's see. This is one of our last words, last questions. And if you would give me just one word or two
Okay.
for the questions I am going to ask you now.
Okay.
What season do you like?
Fall.
What movie do you like?
Melancholia.
What is the book that we need to read?
Well, my favorite book is The Bone People by Carrie Holm.
What is the latest song you heard?
That one I'm not sure, but Higgs Boson Blues by Nick Cave is probably
What
one
is
of them.
Okay, that's a lot of words.
Sorry.
That's fine. What is the fruit you like the most?
Papaya.
What is your oracle card or your tarot card for today? If you didn't pick a card, you have time to pick a card for now.
I did pick a card. It was gifts. Gifts.
Oh. If you were a tarot card or an oracle card, what would you be?
Queen of Wands.
What is magic for you?
Everything, I think.
Have you a dream for the earth, and what is it?
For human beings to wake up and be aware of the oneness.
Beautiful. And if you are, I know that a lot of those who will watch this video are oracle collectors, oracle and tarot lovers. Do you love tarot cards, oracle decks, and which one is your favorite? Especially we are talking about tarot decks, for example. What is your favorite one?
My favorite deck is the Aquarian Tarot, which is an older one, but I've always loved it.
Yeah, it is lovely. And what do you like about it? I admit that the colors are beautiful. I find the colors very nice, but what do you like about it?
I think it's just the familiarity. I've used it since I was a teenager, and so it's sentimental to me.
So we finish with the one word, one question. Is there any question you wanted to develop more?
Ooh, I don't know. Not that I can think of.
Okay, perfect. So to finish our quick talk and amazing talk, do you have any spread or reading you would advise people to do or to use with your Oracle deck? We talked about 1 card to 3 cards. Maybe you have any other spread?
I don't have any particular spreads. Honestly, I really just I like to go through, spread the cards and choose whatever speaks to me. It's very intuitive, like I said, and yeah, the 3 cards often are just what I do. Just 3 cards. I don't even, do like a past, present, future necessarily. Just let them speak to me.
Yeah, that's fine. Let your intuition be. Follow it.
Yeah.
So we were talking about your future projects within 2 years, but what about the Illuminated Earth Oracle? I know that it is in print, as you have just finished the campaign in Kickstarter. Do you have any dates or any updates for this project?
The new print run is supposed to arrive in mid-July, and from past experience, I'm not totally counting on that. It could be a little bit later, but that's when I'm hoping it'll be here. Yeah, and so I'm excited about that. Want to just keep getting it out in the world, telling as many people as I can about it. And also I do have prints that I'm selling on my Etsy site, and I'm going to start getting some larger prints up on my website. So if people are interested in if they really like one of the cards, I can print most of them. So excited about doing that, doing some art fairs. I mean, really at heart, I'm an artist, and so making the art and getting the art out is important to me, and sharing that. So yeah.
So thank you for being here, Claire. It was really amazing to have you. I don't know if it will be the last interview we'll have, maybe another one within, I don't know how many times, but I will leave your link, your Etsy shop just below the video. If you are interested in the prints or in the Oracle deck, for maybe late summer, we will know. We are planning on July, but we will know about that. Let us also know if you have other questions for Claire. Maybe I can ask her after if she can join me for another interview. Also, don't forget to like the video, to subscribe to this channel, because we will have other amazing videos coming in. Claire, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here.
And I wish you to see you another time.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.